What if the thing your doctor is trying to eliminate is the same thing that kept your ancestors alive? Not a glitch, not a misfire, a system so old and so reliable that it persists across hundreds of millions of years of vertebrate evolution, and we've decided to call it a disorder. Here is the mainstream position, stated fairly. Anxiety disorders are the most prevalent mental health condition on the planet. The DSM-5 defines generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, by criteria that include excessive and difficult to control worry, lasting at least 6 months, causing significant distress or functional impairment across multiple life domains. The clinical consensus is that anxiety, when it reaches a certain threshold, is pathological. It needs to be identified, treated, and where possible, reduced. That consensus is not arbitrary. People suffer. Anxiety can be genuinely disabling. It disrupts sleep, fractures relationships, narrows lives. The pharmaceutical and psychotherapeutic industries built around anxiety treatment aren't entirely wrong. CBT has a real evidence base. SSRIs help a measurable proportion of patients. If you are in acute distress, this video is not an argument against seeking care. That matters, and I want to say it plainly before I complicate anything. Clinical setting? Well, here is the problem with any system that draws a line between normal and disordered. The line has to go somewhere. And wherever it goes, we need to ask, what did we use to draw it? Because the answer turns out to be messier than the diagnostic manuals suggest. The DSM diagnostic threshold for GAD relies heavily on 2 proxies: self-reported excessive worry and functional impairment. Both are doing enormous conceptual work, and both are, on examination, deeply context-dependent. What counts as excessive worry? Excessive compared to what baseline? In what environment? Facing what actual threats? A person living in a high-crime neighborhood, in financial precarity, with an unstable employment situation, their worry may look clinically elevated on a standardized scale, but it may also be, in a strict ecological sense, calibrated. The worry is tracking something real. The measurement trap here is significant. We are using culturally saturated, context-blind instruments to identify pathology in a system that was never designed to be context-blind. The aversive brain system, the network of structures that generates anxiety, is not supposed to know whether you are in therapy-friendly, stable income, low predation modernity. It is supposed to scan for threat and respond. When we measure its output without measuring the environment it is responding to, we may be systematically misclassifying adaptive responses as disorders. We lose the precision of a radar or sonar sweep, circular, methodical scanning. There is a deeper issue underneath this, which is the definitional one. Disorder implies something is not working correctly, but working correctly according to what specification? If the specification produces minimal subjective discomfort in contemporary Western life, then yes, anxiety often fails. But if the specification detects and responds to threat reliably across a wide range of environments, the evidence suggests it works rather well. Too well, sometimes, which is a different problem than being broken. Consider the phylogenetic depth of this system. In a 2018 review published in Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews, Maximino and colleagues documented that the aversive brain system in teleost fish, bony fish, which diverged from our lineage roughly 450 million years ago, shows functional and neurochemical homology with the human anxiety system. The same basic architecture conserved across nearly 500 million years. Evolution does not conserve broken machinery. It conserves machinery that works. That conservation is one of the stronger arguments we have that anxiety is not a design flaw. It is a design. The acute stress response itself has a well-characterized evolutionary logic. In a 2004 paper in CNS Spectrums, psychiatrist H. Stephen Braca laid out the adaptive sequence: freeze, flight, fight, fright, faint, 5 distinct response modes, each suited to different threat parameters. Anxiety, in this framing, is the anticipatory layer of that system. It is the mechanism that activates preparation before the threat fully materializes. The cost of a false positive, feeling anxious when no threat exists, is discomfort. The cost of a false negative, feeling calm when a threat does exist, is potential death. Natural selection does not optimize for comfort. It optimizes for survival. Brache's analysis suggests the system is calibrated toward oversensitivity by design, not by malfunction. What about the neural substrate? Research published in the Journal of Neuroscience in 2025 by van der Velde, Bago, and Shioki examined circuit-level diversity in the ventral hippocampus, a region central to anxiety processing, and found that the same circuits regulate both threat-related vigilance and broader cognitive functions, including spatial navigation and memory consolidation. The anxiety system is not a sequestered error module. It is woven into core cognitive architecture. Dampening it is not a clean operation. There is also evidence from the gut-brain axis. A 2024 review in Seminars in Cell and Developmental Biology by Descartes Spain and colleagues examined the role of the vagus nerve in mediating communication between the gastrointestinal system and cognitive control networks. Anxiety states modulate this axis bidirectionally, and that modulation appears to have functional significance for immune response, metabolic regulation, and threat appraisal. An anatomical illustration of the vagus nerve pathway, clean, diagrammatic, tracing from brainstem to abdomen. The system is not isolated to the brain, it is systemic in the literal sense. None of this proves that clinical anxiety treatment is wrong. What it does not establish is a clean boundary between adaptive vigilance and pathological disorder. The evidence suggests the two exist on a continuum, and that where we draw the clinical line is a social and statistical decision as much as a biological one. The 2015 International Psychogeriatrics Commentary by Beekman, Vauchar, and Pachana on late-life anxiety makes exactly this point. Anxiety in older adults is frequently underdiagnosed, precisely because clinicians expect some baseline of worry in that population, revealing that our diagnostic thresholds are already implicitly adjusted for social context in ways we rarely make explicit. So what does this mean for you if you experience anxiety? It may mean that the first question isn't how do I get rid of this, but what is this tracking? That is not a dismissal of your discomfort. The discomfort is real, but discomfort is not the same as malfunction. Pain after exercise is real. It is also information. One interpretation of chronic anxiety is that you have a high-resolution threat detection system operating in an environment that is genuinely ambiguous, where threats are financial, social, and reputational rather than physical, and where no single response behavior resolves them. The system keeps running because the signal never fully clears. That is not the system being broken. That is the system encountering a novel environment it wasn't calibrated for. The research on attentional bias variability, work by Name, Abend, and Wald, published in the American Journal of Psychiatry in 2015, suggests that it's not just the presence of threat-related attention that predicts poor outcomes, but the variability of that attention. An anxious person who can shift attention flexibly may be in a meaningfully different situation than one who cannot. That distinction rarely shows up in a diagnostic checklist. There is also the question of what anxiety produces: heightened threat detection, more careful planning, stronger memory encoding for aversive events, increased vigilance in social environments. These are not exclusively liabilities. In the right context, they are exactly what you would want. Here is where I land, reluctantly. The evolutionary case against calling anxiety a disorder is strong. Phylogenetically, neurologically, functionally. The system is ancient, conserved, integrated, and in many contexts adaptive. The diagnostic framework we use to identify it as pathological is, in ways that matter, context-blind. And yet, some people's anxiety is genuinely disabling in ways that no amount of reframing resolves. The suffering is not philosophical. The loss of function is not metaphorical. I am not comfortable saying the clinical apparatus is simply wrong. What I think is closer to true is that we have one word, anxiety, for a system that spans adaptive vigilance, calibrated worry, and genuinely dysregulated suffering. And we built our diagnostic framework mostly around the last category, then applied it to all three. Anxiety. I know where the right line is. I'm not sure the field does either. The research behind this video draws from Seminars in Cell and Developmental Biology, CNS Spectrums, International Psychogeriatrics, the Journal of Neuroscience, the official journal of the Society for Neuroscience, Scientific Reports, Critical Care, London, England, Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews, the American Journal of Psychiatry. Every claim traces to a published source. Full citations are in the description below. If the way this channel thinks about neuroscience resonates with you, subscribing helps this work reach people who'd appreciate it. New videos on the science of mind every week.